good. I was a big fan of his for a long time.
His stuff's really good.
I like his content. He just kind of is a normal guy that just talks about the cars and drives them on cool roads.
Yeah. For me, it's all about the people who like have that passion for cars. Sebastian's in my M2, am I right? Loving his life because he's finally in a car that sounds good. For me, it's just I like watching people that have that love for cars, and you can tell. You know what I mean? Whereas a lot of people are just kind of sucked into what I've seen happen so much on the traditional side of YouTube where it becomes a job. You know what I mean? And you can kind of see what's authentic and what's not. That's why I like to keep this channel fun, informative, but also like I'm not a journalist, so I'm trying to give people more of that like general review of cars that's not from the mind of someone who is professional in the art of judging cars, you know? Probably like yourself. I feel like you've been in a lot of cars.
Definitely, yeah. Coached in a lot of cars too. I've got all my favorites and cars I don't like, but Porsche is up there. They're making the best drivers cars right now.
Oh, you cannot deny it. I even think we were talking about BMW earlier. Though my love for BMW, just because I feel the cars as far as modern day tech and everything is going, they're falling a little behind, but we can't ignore that they're making the best drivers cars, in my opinion, in that daily category. Like the M2 to me, though I'm getting rid of it because it is too similar to my GT4, like I don't find that to be an issue on the scale of like, is that car a real performance vehicle? And you said you had an M2.
Yeah, I'm well familiar with the M2 and the GT4. I like the M2, but honestly I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I liked some other BMWs from the past more.
Yes, more analog
but
stuff.
it's a decent driver's car. It's okay. I like the E39 M5 in particular.
Really?
Yeah, I had a couple M Roadsters with the 0102, which was the only years with the S54 motor.
Okay. Was that the same as the Z4M? Is the S54 the motor you get in the E46 M3?
Yes,
gotcha.
The 333 horsepower, but it was 315 in the M Roadster M Coupe.
Okay. I love the Z4M, which has that engine.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Very few of those.
I feel like that engine's hit or miss. Some people hate it, some people love it.
Yeah, it's just more powerful than the 240 horsepower motor before it.
The E36 engine, yeah?
Yeah, the US E36 engine.
How do you like the E36?
I like it a lot. I think it's great. Really good driver's car. I mean, I like actually regular E36 3 Series.
Really?
You know, if you just gut it out, it's a perfect track car.
Yeah.
You know 24 Hours of Lemons?
Yeah.
That's fun.
I've heard of that. I love that.
We've got an Integra and Civic, and you can't have more fun for less money on a track.
Yeah. What do you think of Miatas?
I haven't driven enough, but that's the perfect car to learn on and keep your skills sharp. I'm
not huge, but I've kind of been opening up to the idea of like just a cheap, gutted, built track car. Because I hear they handle, like the MX-5s handled beautifully. My first car I ever tracked was the S2000. Oh, I love those. And that's kind of like, you know, a slightly bigger Miata, really stiff chassis. Same concept as this car though, where that back will kill you if you're not safe. It will, it will snap oversteer. If you do sudden throttle lift, like mid-turn, transfer the weight forward, you will snap oversteer. I've done it multiple times. People fly off cliffs in those cars. Yeah, they're dangerous. I did crash one once in a hydroplane situation. Really? Yeah. Oh, I was actually looking to buy one of those a long time ago. When I drove one, again, it's you get like this kind of concept in this tiny little cheap car, right? Revs to 8,000. That transmission, I find the gearbox to be amazing. I love those old Honda gearboxes. Yeah, it is amazing. It's a very analog car for what it is. That's the first car that I drove that revved to 9,000 RPM. Yeah. And had a manual. This is the second. I mean, the price kind of goes to show too. Oh. You know what's funny? So my car was just done recently. I still have yet to do a whole like exhaust review on that car. Some people online who haven't heard in person were like, you should hear Tom's car. I wonder if your car's louder. I can confirm my car is dangerously louder. I think so. I can't say it sounds better. That's more of a preference situation. Just because people were saying that, I didn't know if your car was like, gotta look out for cops more than you're even looking on the road, whereas my exhaust is like, I spend more time looking at cops. It's fun and stressful, but when you get on it, it's, oh my God, it's beautiful. Does yours have cats? No. Oh, okay, that's why. Dundon's only does race headers for the GT4. Oh, okay. I just had drone tubes added on to my titanium setup, and before that, it literally sounded like a cup car. All right, guys, we're gonna kind of pause this right now. We'll restart once we're in the canyons. This might just turn into a whole GoPro video, I don't know. And then I'll give you guys my opinions as a passenger, which is always different than driving. Hey, Seb. It might be a little hard to hear because this car is very loud. Windows cracked a little. I actually would rather you guys hear the noise than hear me because that's more entertaining. There's also a Mini Cooper blowing bubbles. So for me, when I drive, everything is about smooth inputs. Like when I turn, I want to make sure that I'm matching my throttle to my hand inputs as well. Yeah. Brake ahead of time. It's rear engine, so you can get on the gas a little bit slightly sooner, set the weight to the rear. Yeah. And that helps you get traction where you need it if you're closer to the limit. I mean, I can even leave it in third because of the added torque from the headers and the throttle body combination.
like significant to me are just the ones that are the most fun. So S2000, C6 Z06.
Okay.
Subaru STI, love that car. E39 M5.
Which gen of the STI?
The CLUBBLAU 2004, so the first one that had the 2.5 liter.
I learned how to drive stick properly. I had already kind of known, but where I like went from kind of knowing the concept of stick to being able to fully drive stick was in like a stage 2+ with a race clutch 04 STI.
Oh, really?
And I think because I learned on a race clutch is what made me love manuals so much. It just kind of gave me a head start into the manual world, and that car was so fun.
Yeah, it is.
So
the
fun.
personality of that car is just like manic. It just wants to have fun at all times.
And the turbo and the way boost builds in that car, it's a quick car. Surprisingly quick. I really like the hatches of the next generation. And those are bringing big money right now.
Oh yeah.
You're still paying like 30 grand for a decent one.
My buddy bought one and the engine blew right after he bought it, so we rebuilt it to 650 horsepower with the forged block.
How does that thing drive?
Great. Yeah, you can do a 4-wheel drift anytime in that car.
Ferrari 360?
Yeah, 360. I don't know, GT3 RS is a real nice car. I like that one.
991?
Yeah. I like this better though, because I just prefer manual.
Yeah, same. I drove a .2 3RS.
Okay.
And I found it to just be like out of place on the road. Like, just didn't make sense. It just felt like it wanted to be at the track the whole time.
Yeah.
I felt like I was doing the car a disservice by driving it on the road. Like on the freeway in that car, it's just not pleasant. They're not the fastest cars in the world, so you're not getting like the best experience. Obviously it's PDK, it's fun, but the 991 I haven't gotten in. I've heard better things about the 991 versus the 2. People say it's a little more analog.
I thought so. GT4 is one of my favorites, of course. Yeah. Actually, I missed that car. That was great. And even the 991 base GT3, I like that one quite a bit. Yeah. I love the engine.
See, people are starting to say, I've heard slowly more and more, both from past owners and journalists say that they didn't love that car as much.
Which one?
Or actually, no, not journalists. Journalists will always say good things, but the 991 GT3,
okay,
I'm hearing less and less good about it from people who own them.
Did you feel that sputter?
Yeah.
That wasn't me. That's like the car's having a problem around 8,500 RPMs at random. Huh. I think it's a software update that they did. The dealer did.
Do you have carbon or steel on this car?
These are steel brakes. They're aftermarket Giro discs.
Oh yeah, you just got them put on, huh?
Yeah, they're great.
Good. Sounds awesome.
Just all third gear right now.
The big difference I'll notice from someone like yourself, something I've already known, but I don't implement too much just because... I don't drive gnarly too often, is drivers like yourself typically tend, it's either on the gas or on the brakes.
Yeah.
And I've learned that it's such a more like vigorous driving experience when you're on the gas and then on the brakes. For me, I spent a little more time kind of just cruising. And another thing I didn't mention to you earlier that I've noticed the GT4 does, it'll step out off throttle. The car doesn't like to be off throttle.
Okay.
So it'll like do these like power slides when you're not giving it throttle around a turn. So if I'm cruising, I'll implement throttle just a little to make sure it grips to the road. But when I drive people like you, like I don't brake too heavy in my car because it's just like I'm just cruising. That's a good time. I like that.
Sorry, I forgot to ask first.
I don't need asking for that. Recently, or he's been in one. He was telling me the GT4 clutch, and this is his opinion, of course, an owner of a GT4. He says it's the best version of the manual gearbox Porsche's ever made. He said when he got one of these, he said it's a little softer.
No, they're both extremely light and soft. The GT4 and this clutch are equally light and soft. I mean, my friend in Germany who actually has my old Porsche, my very first Porsche was a 997 GT3. That has a heavy clutch. I mean, maybe he hasn't driven one of those because that is heavy. And
no, I've driven it.
Relative to that, the GT4 is, you know, very light.
But a lot of people complain about the GT4's clutch for like
being too light?
No, too heavy. heavy.
Too heavy?
I disagree. I'm with you.
No.
But I don't know if it was the clutch he was saying was too soft or the way they were shifting, but he was saying it's not, because they say it's the same gearbox, essentially.
So you haven't driven any other manual Porsche than your car?
I've driven a 997 GT3.
Okay.
I always talk about that car. I love it. I would buy one, but I would only be able to drive it like 2 days a week.
Yeah.
It's a leg workout. No, that's it. I'm supposed to drive a 993 Turbo S soon.
Okay. I mean, shit, if you want, you can drive this car. Just be nice to her, nicer than me.
I'm always nice. I do not drive even close to like you.
Actually, I would love to hear your feedback on specifically the clutch pedal weight.
Because it's essentially supposed to be the same gearbox.
This was the GT4, as you know, was my last manual Porsche before this.
Yeah.
So,
have you noticed at all a difference in the gearboxes, or do you think they're essentially the same?
see, I didn't have them back to back, but I just found them to be very light compared to previous Porsches.
I also heard like the new Speedster, and that's what I heard. The new Speedster, essentially, I hear that even the clutch is even lighter. They made it a little more light for daily use.
Maybe so.
And I thought it was the same. I've heard it was the same with the .2 GT3 platform. I didn't know if it was exactly the same.
I don't know, man. I mean, this car's really easy to drive.
Yeah.
As my German friend said, who owns my 997 GT3,
yeah.
He said even a woman could drive this car.
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
But really, it just means it's easy to drive daily.
I let my girlfriend drive my car. She never driven stick, and she just learned how to properly drive like 3 months prior.
Okay.
And I got her to do a auto blip rev match. I got her in a second gear.
Wow.
It was not too bad. The gearbox is easy.
Do you do auto blip or not on yours?
Yeah, I just like auto blip.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice. Like, obviously, if you don't rev match, you know, it'll be jerky.
To me, it's like, so on my R8, I didn't have that. I don't like heel towing on daily use. It's annoying to me. I don't like that feeling of like having half weight on both pedals.
Yeah.
You mind if I move your stuff?
Yeah, adjust everything.
Oh yeah, the clutch in this is a lot lighter.
Oh yeah.
A lot lighter than a GT4.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. All right, guys. I guess we're in a GT4 now.
Nope.
Or we're in a GT3 now. I'm all confused. I'm just like focused on driving. I am a little man, so the sports seats always feel. Yeah, the clutch is immediately the first thing. You'll have to drive my GT4. You probably forgot this, but the clutch is lighter.
What? Your car's lighter?
No, your clutch is lighter than my car.
Really?
Like by a significant. It almost feels. So I drove the other day. Do you have a different flywheel or anything?
No.
The other day, 2 days ago, I drove a GT4 with a lightweight flywheel, and the clutch pedal was like fucking. Could have pushed it with my finger, and I didn't enjoy it that much.
Is this really light?
No, this is good, but this is like in between mine and that.
Okay. Is it too light?
No, I'm enjoying it. I can't complain about it by any means. Big thing with this car that I love is the actuation of the valves. Whereas in my car, the valves will actuate when the valves are closed. So when my valves are closed, the valves will open up past like 4K RPM. When my valves are open, there's no actuation. They're just open the whole time. Yeah.
Interesting.
Huh. Yeah, this car handles, like, drives a little differently. Auto blip is a little slower.
Slower? Really?
I feel like I'm talking shit on your car by no means.
Jam it down a second real quick. Try it.
Like, yeah, it goes slower? A little later.
Really? I wonder if the clutch is heavier. Maybe that's why.
So odd. No, because when I drove the other day, oh yeah, steering in this car is a little stiffer too. I like that. That GT4 with the lighter flywheel the other day, it was the opposite. His revs were even quicker. So that goes like, it's counterintuitive. That's weird.
No, with lighter flywheel it should be.
But yours is lighter than mine, and it's like a little laggier.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I need some GT4 parts.
Maybe. Wow. Yeah, this is such a more motorsport experience. Okay, maybe third gear? Yeah, no, it's a little more delayed.
That's
It feels fine though. It's great. No complaints. I'm in a touring. I'm very excited. I have been dying to get behind the wheel of one of these for so long. I always buy cars before I drive them. Like, I know what I'll like before I drive.
If you get a chance, you have to rev it out on a street. Also try the flat foot shift.
What RPM do you have to be at?
Any RPM. So like right now, just stay on the gas, and then it's hard to acquire your brake. Do not lift your right foot and shift to fourth, and keep gassing it.
Whoa!
But do it again faster when you get a chance.
I thought it was only in high RPMs.
No, every RPM.
Really?
It really helps you shift smoother, actually.
That is so interesting.
Yeah, you're good with the clutch.
I'm just used to my car. Your clutch is different than mine by a lot.
Throw a bearing there. You know, you felt it almost
shift too. That's so fun.
It's almost like PDK.
Yeah, that's so sweet. How many flashed me?
It's just the bump.
Jesus.
Get some air. This also has the DSC Sport module, which is a different controller that controls the dampening.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that.
Good and bad.
You don't like it?
No.
Really?
Porsche has better research and development capabilities.
That's some
these guys do.
aftermarket part.
And when we were at Willow Springs, we found the limits of this damn thing at turn 8 and 9. I can say that Porsche makes theirs factory one with Bilstein.
Yeah.
It's going to be superior. The only thing that's good about this one, it's tunable. You can change the settings. So you can actually make it softer, so it's more comfortable on the street in the soft setting.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Suspension's a little more like stiff over bumps.
Well, that's in the soft setting too.
Interesting.
You want me to put on stiff?
Hey, I'll feel some brakes here. Oh yeah. Huh. I can feel the grip a little more than mine. Mine's a little more softer.
These are brand new Cup 2s also. Does it feel bigger than a GT4?
By a little, yeah.
Yeah, I think so
It's
too.
so, the big thing I noticed with my car, it feels like a fucking go-kart. This is the closest thing I can explain to a GT4. It feels like a go-kart, tiny. I feel like I'm just in this little mini car. The only difference with this, I can almost feel that I need to be more precautious at the limit.
Definitely. This car's harder to drive than a GT4.
Yeah.
Especially at the limit.
And that's why I love my GT4. Like for where I'm at, like it's perfect. But the engine in this sounds super. You're gonna like my car though. You're definitely gonna enjoy that.
I love GT4.
Thank you, by the way, for letting me drive this.
Of course.
All right, guys, I kind of want to end it here because I kind of want to enjoy myself and drive this. Again, Tom, thank you.
My pleasure, man.
Wow, maybe I'll have one of these one day. This is the dream daily. GT4, I'm driving like a track car all the time. I do like the buckets though. What are your thoughts on the buckets?
I had them on my last two cars, the RS and the GT4, and they're great on the GT4, but on this car I wanted it to fold so you can get to the back storage area.
Smart.
Buckets are comfortable for about an hour and a half, and then they're not.
True. That's a good estimation of time.
Plus, these have heated seats, which I like. And then I wanted to do the painted seat backs just for fun.
Cool. Is this all
CLUBBLAU.
Beautiful. Yeah, for those who didn't know, this is CLUBBLAU PTS. How many CLUBBLAU tourings were made? Are you the only one? Awesome. What about, and then you said GT3s, there's two of them with wings?
Two wing GT2 RSs and two Speedsters.
Awesome.
There might be 3 or 4, but there are 2 accounted for.